Ranesh, one of the things that you mentioned about today is the credentials part. The conference cannot proceed to other areas such as the nominations of the top 6. We know, yes, this is the national conference and they're going to be adopting the policies.
Yeah.
But before this conference really goes on, they have to adopt credentials.
Absolutely. As with every other conference, every national conference, every policy conference of the ANC, adoption of the credentials are absolutely significant and very, very integral, because it will tell you basically who is supposed to be at conference, who is allowed to vote and who is not allowed to vote. In terms of delegate numbers, we have around 4,500 delegates from the ANC, from the different branches, close to 3,500 branches from around the country, from the 9 provinces. So that adoption of credentials actually have to happen before anything else happens, before policies are adopted, before the constitution is amended, before resolutions are adopted, and especially before voting actually starts for the top 6 officials and for the National Executive Committee.
And I think the credentials part for me is a very interesting one, because we've seen what happened, for example, at the ANC elective conference in KZN. We saw it happen in Mpumalanga, and we also saw this happen in Limpopo. Credentials, it eats up at least 40% of what conferences are supposed to be. We're running 7 hours behind. We haven't gone into credentials. This is a 5-day conference. We know how heavily contested it is. We saw the drama yesterday. We are in for a rocky boat if we don't get past this credentials part efficiently.
No, absolutely. And I think the ANC has kind of realized that this is a weakness in terms of the organization, you know, and organizational processes. So that's why, if you look at how the branch nominations were done, leading up to this national conference, between policy conference in July and national conference in December, they've got a new system that involves scanning of barcodes, scanning of ID documents. So all those incidents that actually took place in those provinces were kind of a litmus test for this conference before coming here. So, despite having that process, in place as well, we are still seeing those delays. But I think apart from the registration processes which were delayed yesterday, I think it was in just a few meters away from where we are at Nasrec. It actually surfaced again yesterday, and we saw terrible delays. There is a delay this morning as well. But I think the ANC has got a handle on this, and I think things should start flowing a little more smoothly than yesterday.
What for you is going to be the main focus that we should keep our eyes on? You mentioned, for example, the commission that's going to be happening with the Integrity Commission, but outside of that, we know it's closed sessions. But when we go into the press briefings, what is it that we need to be listening out for?
I think, obviously from the high drama yesterday, I think the media wanted something just to buzz. They wanted something to pop. And we got that popping sensation when the former ANC president walked into loud cheers and huge applause. Everybody wanted that, despite what happened in that plenary hall, and everything eventually calmed down. But I think for me today, obviously it's going to be mostly closed sessions. The big thing for me is going to be, the credentials report. We're going to know exactly how many people are going to be allowed to vote for those NEC positions, and most especially for the top 6 positions. But I think from a research perspective, I have always delved into the organizational report of the ANC, because that kind of gives you a sense of how the ANC is doing. If you look at the report, I think it was released just a few weeks before we actually came to conference. You look at the ANC's membership numbers. The ANC says it is tackling the issues at branch level. We know of issues such as gatekeeping, patronage networks, vote buying, and those kind of things that have been plaguing the ANC for quite a while now, since its unbanning in 1990. The ANC has kind of taken hold and listened to these kind of problems, and they're trying to sort it out. So between 2017, the last conference that happened here at Nasrec, and 2022, we've seen a decrease in ANC numbers. ANC membership numbers actually went down by 270,000. That's around 27%. Maybe that's a blight on the NEC because they could not manage to attract quality membership, or maybe that's a good thing for the ANC because they're saying that they're taking out all the undesirables, and that's the reason that there was a decline in the membership. But if you do a comparison between 2002 and 2022, a 20-year thing from Stellenbosch, the national conference there, and the one here at Nasrec, you'll see that there's been a significant increase in terms of membership of the ANC. But it depends which numbers are you looking at. If you look at the 5-year thing, maybe you can applaud the ANC NEC for actually acting on getting its house in order, sorting out the branches, weeding out all those people who are not supposed to be there within the ANC branch, regional, provincial levels.
And I think that's also something that I want to go into. This is something that President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday was very blunt about. He said and I'm not quoting him verbatim, but he said, we are not as strong as we used to be 5 years ago. That was a big omission from a president.
If you look at this letter that he sent out to ANC members in August 2020, he used a very operative word there. He says the 54th National Conference of the ANC was a seminal moment in the party's history. And if you look at what he said yesterday in his political report, he used the word watershed. So if you look at those two terms, seminal moment 5 years ago and watershed moment for this conference. So he's basically saying the ANC is in deep trouble. If we don't act now, if we don't rectify the mistakes that's happening to the ANC, this is the ANC of Oliver Tambo, this is the ANC of Nelson Mandela, this is the ANC of Albert Luthuli, and all those decorated leaders that have come before Cyril Ramaphosa, Jacob Zuma, Thabo Mbeki, Motlanthe, and all those highly exalted leaders. There won't be much of the ANC left when we go to the 2024 general elections. Remember, that is the bigger scene. That is the bigger picture. That is the bigger perspective, because now we've got the EFF, who's biting on the heels of the ANC. We've got a younger demographic coming into the voting fold. The picture is not as same as 1994 when the ANC won elections with a decisive victory. Remember, 2024, it's also 30 years of democracy. And very importantly, we've got the electoral amendment bill that's going to be possibly passed before the 2024 general elections. Independents are possibly going to run in that election and eat into the ANC support base. And also very, very importantly, 2021 local government elections, the ANC lost 6 metros. Why is that? The ANC is being confined to the rural spaces of South Africa. They're losing the imagination, they're losing that appeal to the urban voter. And if you look at the urban space, nearly 41% of registered voters that can vote in 2024 is sitting in those urban spaces. So if the ANC's lost those 6 metros in 2021, their lowest ever vote share since 1994, I think it was 47%, turnout was around 45%. I think the ANC is going to be given a real drubbing come 2024.